the red live top left or that.
Now we're live.
Wicked.
Right. Got to big up this week's guest. Got to big up Nicky Blackmarket, the legend, the old school legend, man. Thanks for coming on, Nick.
Yeah, all good. All good.
Where was you born, Nick? Born and raised?
Me, I was born in Middlesex Hospital, which is up by the post office tower. So right back in central London.
Mm.
And I was brought up in between Marylebone and Kennington, in between those two areas.
Sweet, mate. I know we've had a couple of conversations between us before, and we've sort of come. Our parents come from the same area, sort of. So
yeah. Small world, really small world.
Very small. Considering we only knew each other from the record shop, you know, with Simon, your daughter, his daughter, you know, his sister, my sister.
Another small world. Yeah. Crazy.
It's very small. So, Nick, what music were you into growing up?
I think really, I'd have to say, I mean, my mum was heavily into jazz, so I got a heavy, I suppose, jazz influence when I was growing up. Probably not even realizing that you only realize probably when you get that little bit older, when you mature with the music, and you realize, because when I'm growing up, I was, oh, what's that? You know, you know what I mean? It's in the background. It's in, you know, when you're really, really, really small. But when you grow up, you get older and older, and you realize that you mature with the music. So yeah, I mean, a lot of jazz, I suppose, that when I was very small with my mum, because my mum used to be a jazz dancer. So
wow,
yeah.
So like, I'm gonna just move on a bit. So, what sort of got you into DJing?
Well, I mean, I've always been into music, so I reckon it was like, I suppose, a logical progression. You know, I mean, I wouldn't say it was at the time of when I wanted to play music. It wasn't really, I wouldn't say it weren't like now. You know what I mean? It's like a different era. I started collecting electro funk. You know, that was probably the beginnings of when I really started to, you know, collect music.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's real crazy, because a lot of people I've interviewed said the same thing. You know, the whole electro thing comes into it.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
a lot, man.
That was the revolution at that time there. You know, for electronic dance music, it was a revolution in itself when that explosion come.
Yeah,
like 81, 82, when that, you know, the whole break dancing, body popping thing, and the graffiti, and it was a big explosion, and it was and the music, everything. It was a culture.
Yeah, it just all come at once, to be honest, didn't it? It's like you either listen to that or you listen to the chart.
Yeah. It was an explosion.
So
and that was really the beginning. You could say it was really like the beginning of the dance music thing, really.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you look at that, all the breaks and everything that you know, as well as the aim and break and stuff. If you look at now, we all know where it come from.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously all the breaks came from a lot of the stuff, and especially when you collected the tunes, then you wanted to know where you know, like a sample, where a break had come from, or a sound, or you'd want to know where the original. You'd want to find out where those original sounds of what record it came from. A lot of them come from James Brown, Funky People, you know, an original old school 60s or 70s funk.
Mm. So they sort of, we sort of owe them a homage, man, as of what we've taken from them, used really.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you look back on it and you think, you know, obviously everybody's old school. Everybody's old school to them is different. Do you know what I mean? It's like a lot of people today is, you know, a lot of youngsters, they're old school, as in what they would listen to would be old school jungle. That would be a lot of the people of nowadays. That would be old school to them, even though obviously it was before their time. But it would entitle them as old school. You know, when I was growing up, it was probably like James Brown, Funky People, and the Rare Groove thing.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. Right, just I'm going to touch on this. When did you first start working in Blackmarket, mate?
I went in 1990, and you know, it's a lot different from later on in, you know, it because we was on the top floor, and it was funny because from the time I went in there, looking back on it, it's deep, really deep. It's kind of, we were knowing where we were going even before premeditating what was going on. It's like, you know, so the music of then, you know, like early rave and early breakbeat hardcore kind of stuff, and but even prior to that, with like a lot of the acid house and the house music, the old school house music at the time, and acid, and we'd be pitching it up. So there'd be people like me and like-minded people like myself that we'd be pitching up +8 and go, yeah, that sounds wicked like that. And then, you know, and then you'd got the regular house guys that would be coming in the shop and going, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? What are you doing to the tune? You know, but we were already going on a different path. So I want people, when you think of, you know, around then, you know, be Hype, Randall, Rap, Kenny, Ray, Frost, Brian, that era there, that, you know, yeah, it sounds good like that. We're pitching it up a little bit. But like I say, you got the regular house guys that used to come in all the time. And that was when it was already beginning to split. And I think really, you could say we were going on our own path. Yeah. Already, premeditating that already.
Well, it was really funny because, like, when I speak to people and when I say to them, because I'll get back onto this, because I didn't really discover Blackmarket because I was going into Unity, and I didn't really know about Blackmarket, and then I discovered it, and I always say to people, "Oh, do you remember Blackmarket?" And they were like, "Yeah, downstairs." I was like, "No. It was upstairs." And they said, "It's never been upstairs." And I was like,
"Yeah,
that's where it started."
Because it was before their time. It's because it was before their time, which was funny because when we decided, when it got too much and it was clashing upstairs, it was really clashing, and even it was coming to blows at some point when, you know, you'd have, and remember, we didn't have like where it got to where all the decks are lined up across them. It wasn't like that to begin with. It was just the main set, the main equipment, the main deck you would listen to out loud. You know, that's all you had. So there'd be people waiting to play, like, you know, like breakbeat stuff. Would be listening to the pre-jungle. They'd be listening, waiting there. Then there'd be someone on there, one of the boys, if it would be Ashley or Stafford or one of them boys there playing the house, and they'd be waiting. There'd be a cue then that they'd want to hear. And it was getting to the point of, do you know what? We need another department. We need another department for the music. So I said to Dave Piccioni, my partner at the time, I said, listen, we need to take and the hip hop at the time, it wasn't carrying the financial swing at the time. So we thought, you know, let's put it downstairs. Let's put the you know, as it was hardcore then, downstairs. And he wasn't too really 100% on it. And I said, look, let it be on my head that, you know. So we took it downstairs. The really mad thing about this was, at that point in time, Ray come out of City Sounds. That day, contacted Ray, and that was it. He come in, and we went, and that's we went downstairs, and the rest was history. It's crazy,
mate. I always remember coming into the top of it, and I always remember this guy, man, this short guy, man, literally sliding records down the like a Western when they're sliding down the beers, and he's sliding down records, and it was you. I was like, who is this dude, man, sliding down records down this bar thing, man? You want one of these slings? It was just, Blackmarket was a different thing, mate. And you know what?
I mean, it was crazy because we would get, you know, I mean, I must admit, I learned so much from that shop, just learning on the job, learning everything, you know, about record and the whole record industry. And basically, you know, you'd have to have a good ear for the music. You'd have to have a complete ear for the music.
Yeah.
You know, put the needle on the record. You got to know if it's running or not. The funny thing is, so someone would come in with a white label. They'd literally just pressed it up. They'd have maybe, I don't know, maybe 300 copies, right? They'd have 300 copies, and we'd start bartering. We'd start, you know, so they'd come in, they'd play the tune. I said, listen, I'll tell you what, we'll take the lot off you. You know, and it was like, oh no, I've got to give this to this shop and this shop. I said, no, look, give us it all. Give us it all. Give us the whole lot. We'll do a deal on it. You know, and that's how it worked. And even from the beginnings of giving the mail outs to the DJs, you know, they'd give us whatever, you know, like 10 boxes or whatever, and then they say, oh look, we've got these, could you give these out to your boys? So, you know, we'd give out, you know, we'd have one for Ryder, one for Fabio, one for Frost, one for Brian, one for Rat, one for Ray, one for Gasso, one for, you know, for everybody. We'd keep them back for them. And that's like the beginning of the mail outs.
Right, Nick, what I want to do is I want to do another interview. This is just off the cuff, but this probably next year. I want to do one with you and Ray about Blackmarket. Just Souljah about Blackmarket, because I really want people to know about you this time round. So we'll speak about that another time. But listen, so going forward, I spoke to Gus Lawrence, you know, 4 Hero Reinforced. So you were signed to you signed to Reinforced?
Yeah, I mean this was crazy because, you know, they used to come and drop the tunes in, and I'd get all the tunes, and I just said one time, I said, I'd love to do a tune, and I'd really love to do a tune, and they said, come up Dollar and do a tune, and I went up, and this is when they had the studio up in the loft.
Wow.
And Digo was up there. Digo was the main guy actually in the office. He was always in there. He was the engineer, the main guy there. And he was exceptional. Digo was probably incredible, like as an engineer, a music man, and just incredible to get the sound right, and especially we're talking about 92. Do you know what I mean? And it was, yeah. I had an EP out with them to begin with, the original Spam EP, which, you know, I had Monty Python sample, which from that sample I used. Yeah, that sample though I had, it was like the beginning of my my show on Pulse FM. That
Wow.
I used that at the beginning of Pulse FM. Every show that I had, which I'd done a show every Sunday in 92, I think about 91, 92. Sunday 6 to 8, I think it was, every Sunday. I remember going up big, massive, high-rise flats in Hackney every Sunday. It was funny because, you know, sometimes I'd be out gigging.
Yeah.
And I'd gone up there in my. I'd get sometimes I'd get a cab up there, right? And I'd still be in my pajamas and my dressing gown. And I went up there sometime. I remember going up there. You know, it was not on a regular, but I did do that. I did do that a few times. That I was like, I'm still going to go up there. I've still got my dressing gown and my pajamas on. And yeah, I used the my intro that I used, the spam, which is their spam sketch, the Monty Python sketch.
Yeah.
I used that and I called it the Spam EP, and it went mad. I've done really well with it. Yeah, it was
because obviously I've got that. So, and then you've done the remixes come as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and that done really well as well. And I was just honoured that I'd done an EP on the, and they asked me about doing it on the label. It was wicked.
So what other labels have you done work for, Nick? Just off the cuff.
Oh gosh, what, recently or old?
No,
or
back in the day.
Oh gosh,
That's Souljah.
Yeah, there was a label I did a remix for. I think it was Foundation Records, Equilibrium, and a remix there.
You've been on Quayside as well, haven't you?
Yes, of course. Mad B, got a big up Mad B. Formula 7. Yeah, got to big him up because I really started. I started on his station on Friends FM. It was Friends FM.
Right.
Yeah, Friends FM. I used to be called Magical Erland. Magical E, that was my DJ name back in the day. And yeah, it was they you know, this was like the acid house times. This was just before I went in the shop. I remember there was a time that I was up doing a show. It was a Saturday night, and I had to give out meeting point for a rave. Yeah, like a meeting point for a rave, and I don't know what it was. I think I give out the wrong place or the wrong by mistake. And next thing I get on the phone, you got to get them off the fucking thing, get them on a different, go to different gaffer. It's like, oh no. And I built up, I think it was on, I don't know if it was somewhere on the M25 or just coming off the M25. There's just like some big tailback, everybody. I'm like, no, I thought I'd get in trouble for that. That was like 88, 89 or something. But yeah, I mean, Friends FM, that was.
I think I remember Friends FM. I'm sure I do.
Yeah. And then also, of course, Cool FM with the late great Stevie Hyper that we used to do a show. We used to do a show every Sunday, which it used to be Super Sundays. I think that was like 6 to 8 as well. So it was and you know, we'd been out all night. I mean, the first time I remember we did the show on Cool, the first time that we ever did, that me and Stevie did the show, we'd done a couple of things, and then we ended up in Orange. We done a set kind of late on in the night, and Orange at Hippodrome. It started at 4 a.m. and it went through till. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
It went through till midday on the Sunday, and this and we had. I've got a big up Eastman. He's the Governor General Eastman. He pulled us in. He said, "Yeah, come and do a show." And we'd done the show. The first show was just literally after the Orange, so we'd been out all night. We'd been out all night, and then from Hippodrome Orange in Leicester Square.
Yeah,
which is, I think now it's a casino. I think now.
I think it is.
Yeah, and I mean that was a great venue. That was an incredible venue. Just everyone would go elsewhere. Then 4 a.m, they'd open up and carry on the rave. It was mad. It was mad. Mid-90s, unbelievable club. And then we'd go from there, and we went straight to Cool FM, and Stevie was going to light up his roll up, and it was just about to light up, and I was like, what's that smell? And we were in the studio, just going in the studio, what's that smell? And there's this colour gas. We didn't know how to work it properly, and we turned it on, and there's like gas escaping. I'm thinking, yeah. Steve was just about to light. I was like, hold on. And that was it. It was, oh, no, turn it off. Could have blown the place up before we even started.
I just think something like Nick.
That would have been a crazy start, because we would have, we'd have finished before we even started. Crazy.
I think this man would have killed you.
That was crazy.
I see someone in the comments. My mate Souljah, who was on earlier, he said one of the best combos ever. You two.
Oh, it was. Yeah, we got on like a house on fire. Do you know what I mean?
How did you meet him? We first kind of started playing up in Thunder and Joy, which was a Sunday thing in Tottenham Court Road on a Sunday evening. Wow.
And we just got on. We just, you know what I mean? Like straight away, we clicked.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was wicked.
He was the most defiant, like one of the best MCs that I've ever heard, man. I think he paved the way for a lot of the MCs today, me personally speaking. Yeah. I can't say that for everyone, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, without a doubt. Different styles, in chat. It got the ragga element, the fast twang. He had it all. And then also at that point there, when he was doing it, they were reportaging, the crowd reportaging on, coming back with him. That's incredible.
Yeah, that's something like, even when I hear that tribute album, The Legend, right? When I hear the lyrics, it's just like, that album I play quite regular. And it's like, that album was something else.
He was way ahead of his time. Ahead of his time. Yeah.
100%. I'm just going to touch back on something, Nick. You remember Passion Records under Math?
Yes.
I remember Frosty in an interview saying they used to close that, move the Jeep out the way and stuff, another rave down there or something.
Really?
Apparently so, unless Frosty was winding people up. But...
Well, I mean, look, Brian and Frost, Mash, Passion, Oxford Street, us in Diablo Street, Soho. You had Ambient Soho, where Rachel Miss Pink was before she come in our shop. You had Ray at City Sounds before he come over to us. You had Pedro Peds and Nookie, and Tony Taylor and all them crew over in Reds, Reds Unity. So you had, that was the West End, and everyone would go and do the rounds, because someone would have maybe a tune in one shop and they wouldn't have it in the other, and they'd come into us. Have you heard Ray over at City Sounds got this? Blah, blah. No, really? No? So I think that kept us all on our toes as well.
I tell you what's really funny, because didn't Nicky then work in Unity?
Yes, of course.
I didn't know that. And you know what? It,
He
it's
was
really.
there back in the day. Yeah.
I didn't
And
know
Pedro,
that.
yeah.
Well, both of them worked in Unity.
Pedro.
Yeah.
Big
Oh my.
Peds.
Oh jeez, mate.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. This is why. This
And
is
the
why I think
thing was, the record shops were back in the day. That was the internet. When you think about it, that was the hub, the information hub, the
yeah.
information center, where everyone would meet. All the DJs would come in and they'd meet, and people would interact. It was the meeting point.
See, that's the thing. I've been in Black Market in that den, and I'm sure I was in there more time. I spent more of my mum's rent money in there, and I must have rubbed shoulders with people that I didn't even know.
Yeah, without a doubt.
100%.
Without a doubt. Everybody. It was a meeting point. The meeting point.
It's we need to do this on another sort of interview about Black Market because they did call it the Mecca.
Yeah.
There's things that I told my missus, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I don't believe it." And I was like, "No, I know I muck about a lot, but this is the truth."
It's what I'd be lying to say I didn't miss it, but obviously things, time changes, and
exactly.
and but it was we had real fun times down there, and it wasn't obviously. We'd do, we could do a whole day's graft in there, and then go and do three, 4 gigs, literally go home and have a shower, and then do the whole same again, and then go out that next night. And it's just when I think sometimes that, boy, did I really have hardly any sleep? But that's how it was. That's how the whole thing went, and it was fun times. It weren't work. It was fun. It was fun.
It's something that you're enjoying. So you're playing music, you're in a record shop, and you're doing the raves, mate. What more of a dream job?
That's dream job. Yeah, dream job. And you're making it. You could say you're making it happen. It's. I mean, because still doing it today, I'd never thought. Even though you just at the time you just love what you're doing and you're getting along with it. That 1990 I was in the shop, and it's like that's 30 years ago. Like I would never have thought, right, okay, I'm doing this now, but of course I'd say, yeah, I'd love to be doing it, and I'm still doing it, which is a feat. It's a feat in itself,
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something, mate. I remember this clear to this day, and I was speaking about it the other day. I remember I was downstairs. You was there, and I think Ray. And there was this geezer, and he's being a complete and utter so-and-so. And I remember him. He got his gear out, and he was rolling a joint, and he put it on the side, and I was like, I ain't having this. So as he went down to put his gear back in the bag, I blew it straight off the side. And the fact, I was like, it was the bandmate. He's like, well, when you're being a complete end, you're gonna get something like that. And I was like, you're a douchebag, mate. Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's what you get for being an idiot.
Hold it down at least.
I was like, that's the end of it.
I mean, at one point, it's just one big cloud of smoke in there. At one point, and that's how it was. Do you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden the plainclothes police come in, and it's like, and I said, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And then from then just have to hold it down. There. That's funny times.
I tell you how weird this is, Nick, because I don't know if you remember him. I used to bring this little lad down with me, little mixed race guy. You ever remember him?
Yes.
He was very, very small. That guy's 36 now with 2 kids.
Yeah.
That's how time's flown, mate.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's like ridiculous. So, yeah, new stuff you're working on. Got any EPs coming out?
Yeah, I mean, I've got at the right at the minute. I'm working on tunes with Lion Dub,
right?
Which we do over Zoom, which is great. I'm also doing things with Aries right at the moment. I've got my cartoons label going on, doing things with Fat Mandy and Profile, which we do under 360.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. You know, although it's not at the moment, it's not. You know, it's not the same at the moment where things are getting shut down and moved into tier 3, and you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But when it comes back, I'll tell you what. When it comes back, it's going to be such an explosion that yeah, it will be like the old days.
What was I going to say to you is, if you got anything coming out, let us know, because we've put a link on the website of the radio station.
Monday, I've got the superhero remixes coming out from the House Crew, which is which we got from which the originals from Production House. So we got the remixes of House Crew coming, which is DJ Monk and Papa G. Also, that's a new jungle mix. A 94 Monk unreleased remix.
Wow.
And also Profile and Subkillers with a Jump Up remix. And we've also got a Rollers mix from Alchemist. So yeah, 4 remix package that's coming out on Monday.
Nick, do us a favour, send us a link and we'll put it on the website.
Yes, I will.
If you can. So I'm going to ask you a few questions here. What's the biggest crowd you've ever played to?
Oh gosh. I remember there was a festival in Holland I did. Massive festival in Holland. That was one. This is the biggest crowd that we're talking about now. Yeah. The other year, I Boomtown. Did Boomtown with Kenny Ken and Fat Man D. That was mad. That must have been about 40,000, 50,000. Wow. And then there was also, which probably one of the biggest, was at the O2 at the Millennium Dome. When it was the Millennium Dome, I think it was Well Dance. It was at the turn of the century, I think, which they had the whole thing, which was like nearly 100,000.
Well, what you seeing all them people, mate? Do you not get nervous? I suppose nerves. I suppose you do. I don't know if it's nerves, but it's more excitement. Adrenaline.
Yeah, I definitely get adrenaline. I definitely get adrenaline. The adrenaline buzz. Nothing like it when you're playing in front of a crowd. There's nothing like it.
If I was DJing to a crowd that size, I'd run off the stage.
But for me, I think I like the massive crowds and I like the small crowds as well, because every place has a different vibe.
Yeah, so definitely.
Like big and small, I like it all.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I just wouldn't. I couldn't. It was bad enough when we done Cemetery Fest. I know you was on a different day. I got up there and some geezers were playing dubstep. They all walked off, and I was playing jungle, but they all got them all back. But I was just like, and that was quite big. By the way, me and Nick have been on the same flyer and done some festivals, but on different days. But right,
where was
Nick,
that was
Norwich, wasn't it?
Norfolk place. Yeah.
Cemetery Fest.
That's it. Now I remember. Yeah.
I'm gonna wrap up in a bit because we've gone on a bit. So yeah, I just was going to think of this. I really want to get on. Want to get Ray on here for an interview, and I've contacted him, but I guess he's not going to know who the hell I am anyway. But I really want to do the shop thing.
Yeah, I'll have a word with him.
Because I don't think you know everyone that listens to you and Ray and the whole thing, they're not going to know about the shop if they didn't go to it. And there's as you've only just probably mentioned a handful of shows stories to say about it. You ask anyone about Blackmarket, it's an iconic place.
on and Ariston, yeah, it's just something. There's so many stories. Yeah,
Literally, it's ridiculous.
It was a lifestyle. It was everything. Do you know what I mean? It was the shop was, you know, absolutely imperative to what I was doing anyway.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I can't agree with you more. You know, I know my old dear used to kill me like every week. They used to be paid, man. That used to go on records.
But
where's the rent money in the record shop?
But that was it. That was what everybody did: buy records in excess. You know what I mean? That's what everybody did.
You know what? They wonder why they call it the black. They call it the black crack because it's addictive.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And I mean, it's like even, you know, like, you know, the DJs as well. The DJs that would cut plates. Leon from Music House passed away recently, and he was imperative to all our thing, what we were doing. You know, just that, you know, an acetate, people that don't know, an acetate, a dub plate was a thin sheet of metal with lacquer over the top, and it would be a one-off, and you would have that would be your copy, and you'd go to Music House and you would cut your plates. R.I.P. Leon. R.I.P. man. And you had Paul and Chris over there, and basically you'd go and you'd cut a special. Might be an artist, a singer singing your name in it, or it might be just a one-off where you'd take the DAT, the DAT tape, the master copy, and you'd cut a plate, and that would be the ultimate. You know, so excited to go and play that plate. You know, it's unbelievable.
I'm going to tell you a true story about Hype, man. I was sitting in Music House waiting for a cut. He comes in. Oh, can I sneak in before you? Because it's Hype. Yeah, all right then. 4 hours later, this guy's cutting like 10 dubs, man. Never again. Never again.
But that was the whole thing of, you know, you're going up there, you know, you're waiting in line, you're cutting and you're hearing all the new music, and it was what an experience though. It is wicked.
You know, it was good. I thought, you know, it's Hype. He's told me he's only going to cut one dub. You know what? You got to let Hype pass you. Not when you're cutting about 10 of them, mate. Nah, it ain't happening. Hey, Hype. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Just one more thing before you go. Nick, do you remember you was up there? We went out, and I said, like, I think I said to you, "Where's your record?" You go, "I've got USBs." And I said to you, "You turned in wet," and you said to me, wait until you see the DJ booth." You said to me, "Go and buy some CDJs. That's the way forward." Yeah. This is a true story. You know what I've done that Christmas? Went and bought some CDJs.
There you go. There you go. It's just, you know, the CDJs become industry standard, just like what the Technics 1200s, 1210s were. You know what I mean? They become. It's just it's just the way how it's gone. Digital. The turntables. They were phasing out. Even though some DJs would like to play Serato on the decks, but they become far and fewer. Yeah. And then the CDJs, even nowadays, people don't even really play with CDs. They just use the USBs, put the USBs in the machine, and now the machines, you've got controllers that don't even have CDs anymore. It's all just on the USB. It's crazy how technology has gone and just flown. It's crazy.
Right, Nick, I'm going to wrap this up, mate. Thank you ever so much for coming on. Listen, we need to talk about the black market thing.
We'll have to do it again with the black market thing. Definitely.
Mate, that would be an honour, mate, and to get round here as well, because, you know, big up Ray. I'm going to tell you something quickly before you go. I actually got this concept from Ray when he was doing the interviews on Radar Radio.
Yeah.
He stopped it, and they were so interesting. There was so much stuff that I didn't know about people and what they'd done. And I was like, do you know what? I'm sure Ray wouldn't mind if I sort of not took the concept, but then got people to know about what people are about and about themselves.
It opens doors, opens another door, opens another door. Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? Right, Nick, don't listen. Thanks for coming on. Don't forget to send them links over for the superhero.
Yeah, I will. Wicked.
And we'll put it on the website. Thanks, Nick. Thank you ever so much, fella.
Lovely.
Cheers, nice one, Nick.
Bye.